What exactly is the cost of speaking truth? Well, I would argue, and I'm sure many would agree, it depends on who you are, what you're saying, and where you're saying it. Where are you sharing this information? I think most of us are aware at this point that a lot of news is extremely biased, sometimes even completely falsified. Uh, but it depends where you're getting. That's why we have to be so careful where we are getting our information. But even when we are getting information from sources that report accurate information, there can be biases. There can be a lot of things going on behind the scenes so that maybe we're only getting like one side, or maybe they're not reporting on X, Y, and Z because of various forms of retaliation that can occur if they start reporting the truth from various places. I have a lot of problems with pharmaceutical companies and our medical system, but something I had never thought, the pharmaceutical commercials on TV are just like the most ridiculous thing on the planet, right? Like, I like to joke that, like, oh, I should take that medicine so I can be the happiest person on the planet frolicking through the park with my new boyfriend. And what, like these people are ridiculous on these commercials, right? But here's something I never thought about that I heard the other day, that because they advertise so much, that they, in a way, almost own these TV networks. And as a result of that, do we think the TV networks are going to report anything bad about them? Right. Okay. So there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes that we may not see, we may not be aware of. I was listening to an interview here the last couple of days. It took me, I think it's maybe like an hour long, but I believe everybody should listen to this interview because I feel like it gives a really, really well-rounded perspective on a lot of what's going on behind the scenes. And it's by she works for a newspaper, a newspaper that is global. They're like, I don't know, one of the top sources of information across the world. It's published in, I think she said, 23 different languages, but they are committed to truth. And because they are so committed to truth, they have to do like their location is in secret, I guess. Like, they have had threats made against them personally, lots of threats. Businesses who want to advertise in their newspaper receive threats, and then a lot of these businesses who are committed to advertising in their newspaper back out because they're not interested in the threats. They're not interested that much in advertising in a newspaper that stands for truth. So I'm going to tell you the name of this interview, where I found it. So I listened to it, and it's an app called PragerU, Prageru. They're very much committed to truth. I've heard lots of good things about this app and their founder since it here recently. They've been committed to this for a while. I also heard that their founder just had an accident like in the last few days, and lots of places they're asking for prayers for him. I do not know what his name is. But the name of this, you can find this video in that app, or you can find it on YouTube. The name of this news source, this paper, I have their app on my phone. I did have to pay some for the app on my phone, but it has been totally worth it for me. But it's called the Epoch Times, EPOCH. So the name of this video on YouTube is the Epoch Times, CEO Janice Trey, spelled Trey, survived a Chinese labor camp to stop communism. So in this interview is so much about reasons we need to distance ourselves in any way possible from China. We need to stop buying products from China. They don't say that in the interview, but that is very much my feeling. We need to stop supporting them in any way, shape, or form we can, because a lot of things go on there that are not okay. And they want to spread their ways to the rest of the world. There's just so much in this interview. You should all watch it. The Epoch Times CEO Janice Trey survived a Chinese labor camp to stop communism. Lots of things about things going on behind the scenes that are going to be reported on the news. And when you start hearing things like this, it's a lot easier to start putting together what's going on in our world. When we know what's going on in our world, we can choose how we respond, like buying as few things from China as possible, for example. There's lots of other things as well. That's what I got for today. Go look up that interview.